Am I offline?
I should not give like a whole bio documentary, like 80 years of my life. Well, I'm only 32, but I would probably say I started out drawing at the age of 5, and I was born in 1985. But I like even numbers, so I don't know why I had to say that, but I had to say it.
Damn, bro. That's how I look 10 years later.
I'm a big fan of just having multiple skills I can do on the canvas or on paper. It's like having a Swiss Army knife, your brain, I got a screwdriver and a knife, it's like MacGyver, I can.
This sweatshirt says Genius Christmas Sweater, so not to be on context. I'm gonna show y'all a picture in another flashback.
Do a lot of things with the canvas, if I feel compelled to do a certain topic, like the Zulu works is a certain format of classical painting styles and a little, abstract loose brush strokes on it. You got the rodeo work, which is, a compilation of looking at Francis Bacon and looking at Matisse and Van Gogh. And I mean, the Humidity series is, me looking at, neo-abstract expressionism and, just Matisse, just using color for what it is, in my own thought process.
I should make a count. Shout out to Kelly Green.
Zulu is based off of just New Orleans culture. When I see black and white face paint, I don't think about Sambo and menstrual cycles. Even though it's a part of the history of that. New Orleans is like a bubble. So, I mean, we still say cold drinks, for sodas. So, for me, put a black face on a person and it dealing with Mardi Gras, to me, it has something to do about culture and festivities more than race and social identity and racism. So when I created,
I saw Ludwig stream earlier. No, well, it's a post stream. It's like off his YouTube. He kept on saying "okay" after he said something to his class. So I guess my is
I want to intertwine the corruption of politicians when they say they're gonna give you something on their campaign trails, and they're just throwing out whatever they can do to get you on board. I kind of parallel that with how the Zulu float riders are. When they give you a coconut, you actually got to go up and ask for one. You can't throw it, so they'll reach out to you and hand it to you, And the beads they throw at you, they give you cups, they give you all this stuff, you feel good, but you have all this stuff, and then you just have it sit there at your house, And same thing with politicians, you want them to do all this stuff, they get in office, and they might not do it, what you ask them to do. So
that gray hair was coming though, I'm fucking with it.
And plus, Mardi Gras on Fat Tuesday, and Election Day is also on Tuesday. So to me, all it had to go with each other. It's just when you're on a date, everything goes great, right? When you have everything in common, right? So it had to go together. So I don't know if it's a one-night stand or if it's a bad continuous relationship. I think the Zulu did what it needed to do. For me as an artist,
I was dead as my I was in my dating bag back then. Jesus Christ, one night stands. Jesus.
Artist when I created it, but when it came to years later of me showing it after Trump got in office, it exploded people's minds, that people are in blackface, Have the people that don't like it, maybe are not from here, but we're in this political climate where everything's a little touchy, everything's a little too hot, everything looks cold, but it's too hot at the same time. So it's you gotta do heat checks on things. So the work was never created to be, controversial. It's just based off the culture of where I'm from, where I lived at my whole life.
Damn, I get some beat up JPEGs.
Keep in mind the sensitivity of different topics. I never want to be a person who does an Emmett Till painting and have, you know, an abstracted face of somebody who's probably somebody's uncle, you know? No matter if it's a child and this looks so far in the past. That's not too long ago. These people, you know, have feelings too. But to me, I try to stay clear of that. But politicians, public figures, you know, they represented us. You know, we put them in office. So I try not to go into a route of having controversy, you know. I just create the work that deals with where I'm at, you know, in this society, where we're at this time. I mean, I try to be very conscious of what I put out and how I execute it. So I never try to do anything for shock. Shock art is bad. Remember that. I need to make a button, shock art is bad. Hashtag. My name is Isiah Walton. I'm from New Orleans. 32 at this point. And that's just like 20 years in the future. You know, this is me now. Remember this. That's it, right?
What's wrong with me?
Program here was, you know, impeccable. Like it had no flaws to me when it came to like how the teachers approach the students.
All right, yo. So this is a video about my time at Delgado. Is doing my show. What I had at the gallery in the the gallery that's in here. Yeah. Isaac Delgado gallery. I think it was made like back in, I forgot, the 40s. I forgot. But Dan Charbonnet and Daphne Loney, they definitely included me in a couple of group shows. This was my first ever solo show at Delgado. Being an alumni, it was great. So let's get into the video.
Art program here was, you know, impeccable. Like it had no flaws to me when it came to like how the teachers approach the students. If the students was definitely trying to like get in touch to like how to be creative and how to learn. Like the teachers here are like in the art department, I would say it's like top notch in the city. My name is Isiah Walton. I'm a professional artist, a fine artist. I paint primarily. I did dabble in some sculptures, but my one and true thing is to paint on canvas. I used to paint with oils, but now it's mostly acrylic, just based on location, but I'm definitely an artist, like for sure. I grew up in New Orleans East and predominantly moved around the city here and there, but I got my education from the one and only Delgado Community College.
You know, one thing I'm noticing about this video from the last video, it's like I took the other one serious, but you know, I was still in the phase of being like less than 10 years in the game. So, you know, that's how that video went down. But this one's a little bit more mature.
They had the best art program. I used to hear about it before I even like enrolled back in 2003. Yeah, people were like, if you want to get anything started, try to go there first. I earned the Associates of Arts degree in 2012. It was something I never really pivoted from. When I had my major, I never really changed it at all. It's always was fine arts. I was originally trying to like navigate through the idea of becoming a comic book artist or animator at one point. And the fine arts department here and the visual communications department here offered that in some type of way. And I found myself gravitating gravitating towards fine arts mostly when I had a drawing 2 class in 2005, and we had the option of using like I think paint, some type of paint medium, and I had a project we had to do with that. And it was like last minute. I did it overnight, brought it the next day, wouldn't dry. I used the wrong paint. I used oils instead of acrylic. The teacher brought in another teacher. It was Robin Cole at the time. She brought in Robin Pelligman, and she was like, "Hey, look at this right here." And I'm thinking like, "Man, I'm about to get grilled." She was like, "No, this is really good. We knew you did it last minute, but this is really good."
Yeah, I'm gonna show y'all a picture of that. I think I did it back in like 2000. What was that? 2005, I think, right before Katrina. Man, it was like, yeah, like the story explained. I thought I was using acrylics, man. I was using the oil paint. That thing was not drying. It's pretty bad. I did like a collage on top of a drawing I did of Aaliyah back in like 2004, like the year before previously. So I just cut it out, matted on there. I mean, it was cool. I had like some other stuff on there, like Beethoven's sculpture and a still life drawing I did. Yeah, so I think the bust was of Beethoven. I think it was like plaster, but I think I drew it with like graphite, exacto knife it out, and I think put some adhesive on it, and then put it on this paper, and I just painted some blue oil paint around it. But I'm gonna show y'all a picture of that in the another video when I give y'all the deeper archives of what I got going on.
So they gave me a free pass to do, be creative as I want for the whole semester. I would say it's taken me to a spot to where people have given me good Google presence. People who know me here and there. So I'm always trying to climb a little bit higher, but yeah, I think I've done pretty well. Getting my goals out of the way. I had my first New York solo show in 2015. Having multiple collectives I created with my friends and strangers alike, just because of the fact that we're all trying to make stuff happen artistically. My relationship with my instructors during my time here was excellent. They would let me use the facilities even after class was over. They gave me like a lot of expert advice on how to like execute like a work of art, or just an idea of how to proceed to have a studio practice outside of school. Right, the show that I have here is called Code Black 2, The Singularity, which is a sequel from my show I had at Jonathan Ferrera Gallery on Julia Street. And with that show, it just has a culmination of these works I call the black paintings, where I get a white canvas or I buy a black canvas, and I just go ahead, well, with the white canvas, I go ahead and I paint it black. So I just use paint pens over time to get my line quality a little bit tighter for the imagery I was working on, like figurative paintings or like some type of mindscape or landscape. And I just go ahead and use like all different types of colors to express the different emotions that I want to communicate through the work. My favorite teacher is most predominantly all the teachers I enrolled with, but they got a few teachers that's like high up on the list. I think it was probably Walter Johnson, who created curriculum back in the 70s in the West Bay campus of Delgado. And for him, he taught me how to use oil paint. And he have all these like different quotes and stuff like that. So you would probably remember him if you took his class, like there's no such thing as instant gratification. I mean, he had some Walmart lines in there because Walmart was like right down the block. But through it all, he kind of like directed me to like be like, you probably need to take a design class. I did that with May Niolet. In the meantime, they have teachers here like Daphne Loney. She's like, definitely helped me out. She's like a part of the St. Cloud art scene. Brenda Hannigan, she also like helped me out a whole bunch in painting too. And I just think any teacher that I had enrolled with is probably my favorite teacher, but Walter is definitely number one. I would say to the next generation, if you're developing your skills, through an education branch, to definitely tap into the art history, tap into like what your teachers' experiences were, because you might share their friends' experiences who probably were a little bit successful or unsuccessful, so they can like gauge you into the right direction, so that's what I would say. Delgado has made me one step closer to unstoppable by the fact that I was able to meet other
First off, they made me say that one step closer to unstoppable. Damn, that's a bold ass line.
Students who
I don't even talk
gave
like
me
that.
like encouragement outside the teacher, and I would think that's most important, like to have like the peers, no matter what age they are, what how far along in their academic careers, they definitely were like the people who like gave me the pat on the back, like, yo, you're doing a good job.
Step closer to unstoppable. I wonder what their new promo is. Dolphins go. Whoa, trying to get the copyright now. So this is a video that was based off of my show in southeastern Louisiana, another black painting show. So a lot of these paintings you're seeing in the last two videos has been from my black painting series. The first video in the archive session we're doing right now, they had rodeo and Zulu paintings. Zulu came before rodeo, but I don't think I've seen any humidity paintings within these videos. Me.
For me, putting the colors down and see what matches up, I'm kind of good with color at this point when it comes to like how to, put it into a composition. But sometimes I gotta go back and edit it because it don't work. But for the most part, it's just the colors just has to like feed off of the actual.
What's weird? I get to see the journey of me being like at different stages of my age, bro. Like it's pretty funny. Like I had less gray hair. That was quick though. I mean, these last two shows happened in like the last 5 years. Damn. But I love seeing that progression though.
Figures, itself, I had to use the black paint because I was secretly let into like a facility to use their space because I had a painting for a show that was too large for the house I was painting at. So my friends let me in there while the staff was away, and the best way for me to make shadows and all these other things is to put black paint on the background and just go in there with some color and try the best I can do. And it stuck. And it kind of came into play later on because I had like a studio that was that had like a little mold problem. So if I use black paint on any of the paintings, it'll mold out like oil paint. So I have to use acrylic paint to make sure I can go ahead and knock these things out fast so I won't get any mold on them. So that's what the black paintings became like a thing for me.
Legend has it, that studio I was in on St. Claude was a studio. It was like the apartment. First off, it was a house. So I guess the dude had roommates, but the person that lived in the room I was painting in before me and whatever, yeah, it was like a voodoo witch doctor, bro. He had like chicken blood, like on the walls a little bit here and there. It wasn't like too obvious, but you can tell like when I painted over the room because it was yellow, that little red stain was still there, like in the paint I painted over it was like some white generic paint. That it was like bleed through. So I don't know, it was a blessing. Hopefully it was. I mean, I made a lot of good paintings out of there.
So I just kept it going, and I have over like 50 plus works, I guess, since 2017. What I was trying to go in here and do is basically just use that black background as like a good coat, a good base, compared to like using like white gesso and trying to just layer it out and figure it out. It's like a technique. I just put the black paint down first, and if you're really good at drawing, you can be able to outline everything. That's why I have like everything in white lines, and then I just go ahead and pick what colors I need to put in there. It's only like a 3 or 4 part method. There's not too much shading going on in there. Sometimes it sticks in people's mind and be like, okay, what was that all about? And then some people be like, oh, I totally get that, but what was that extra part, you know? So, you know, that's why it's always good to add like, you know, an extra layer on top of it, you know. Sometimes the colors will probably like, you know, come to somebody's mind and be like, oh, this reminds me of Hulk Hogan, you know, red and yellow, you never know. But it's just all about, for me, putting the colors down and see what matches up. And I kind of use the idea of like the black as a way to boost up more like a neon hues and stuff like that. The cybernetic part mostly pertains to the websites and the open tabs and the different things we experience while we're online browsing.
As soon as I put this video up on YouTube, you're gonna strike it down. I already know.
Content and information and the Trojan horse virus. Some deals with like very heavy topics like Black Lives Matter, sickle cell. I think humor kind of like takes a little bit of the venom out of the content a little bit. So sometimes it conveys, you know, emotions from people. Sometimes it's just like, oh, that was pretty funny, and then they leave out, you know.